What's up, guys? It Begins Music here. Today we're talking about Arc Raiders, my thoughts on the game and its development. I am personally not an extraction shooter player. I'm interested in them, and I really love Hunt Showdown. The design for that game is awesome and creepy, and it's one of my favorite games. Now, I was having a really tough time streaming this game. Anytime I would die or extract, I would always end up with a black screen. And eventually it would just crash my console, which I was playing on PS5, and it would crash the game, and I would just have to reset all of my recording software. It was not great. I did salvage this one round, so I'll talk over what I was able to record. And another thing is a lot of these games are great with friends. Unfortunately, none of my friends had this game. They were either busy, not invited, or just didn't even download it. This game was pretty tough for me because I didn't have anybody to strategize with or to revive me. So let's get into it. First of all, the world design is great. The PvP elements are pretty solid, and the PvE as well is really great and strikes a really nice balance between the time that you have to fight other players and the strategy to not get the robots involved. And this is great, adds another layer of complexity to the gunplay against other players. The other thing too is the character design. The characters that you were able to choose from in this was the same as the ones in the finals. Same development team. So a lot of the customization is transferred pretty much directly over to this game. There was a lot less choice in that, but what they did have was pretty good. And I imagine a lot of the customization is going to be similar to the finals, down to customizing a backpack, a uniform, a hairstyle. I don't know about body type, face type, any of the other cosmetics, even hopefully relating to the weapons. Now, the things that I didn't really care for about this game, first off, was the inventory system. PC runs really well. You can click and drag any item you want over from a dead player character or from any interactable loot. But with console, anytime that you wanted to dig through somebody's inventory, I tried to bring specific items over from the other player's inventory, and it keeps resetting the cursor to the top left of their inventory that I had already tried to skip and get past. A little bit annoying, but what do you expect as a beta test? And another thing too is a lot of items have hidden uses. So if you destroy a fire robot, or if you destroy a zappy, taser robot and loot it, most of the time, or in fact all of the time, they will drop a grenade. It doesn't look like a grenade. It's not even described as a grenade, but there is damage numbers on the description of the item. And it's something that I wish that they would have made a little more clear. There's a lot of items like that in the game where the use for whatever that you pick up is not really explicitly told to you, or not really understood to what it's supposed to go to. And also for selling and recycling materials, there is no mass or multi-recycling interface. You have to recycle your items or sell your items one at a time. And with a base inventory of 80, that takes forever, especially when you're trying to get stuff to upgrade your workbenches or different elements of your base, or even trying to get materials to complete quests. It takes forever. And you can upgrade the amount of slots that you have in your inventory, but that, I imagine, is going to cost currency. I imagine that they're going to have it to where you need to pay in-game currency to increase your base inventory. One thing that I find a little weird is the skill tree. The elements of this game is very much like an extraction shooter where you lose everything when you die, However, your character still remains in the lobby. So this is your opportunity to do quests and to try and level up this character as much as possible. A little bit of concern that I have with this is that these skills don't seem impactful very much. Some of them are increases to your stamina, others are increases to search speed when you're looking into an inventory, among others. The skill tree is pretty vast, but to me it feels like they nerf the character and how the character works and expect you to grind and grind and grind to try and get this character up to normal or up to a competitive level to the other players in the game that have more time and are obviously more well equipped or are just better and more familiar with extraction shooters. So for people that are joining the game or going to get interested into extraction shooters, it's going to be a lot harder to get somebody to join further down the line when everybody else is all skilled and have spent all their skill points in leveling up the character and how the character works. So I understand. I'm glad that they have a skill tree and that they have some sort of meta progression, but I think it'll hurt new players in the long run down the line if that's what they're hoping for. And on top of that, we have quests. So between rounds, we have members of the HQ that we can go and talk to. For the most part, what I got was go into this map, find this item, extract. Which is fine to learn the mechanics of the game, but is very bland because it's just a greeting from the character himself and then just a page of dialogue. It makes the whole quest system seem sort of bland and not really intriguing. The quests can be pretty intriguing, and going into the match to find these parts to bring back to the NPC could be really fun and create some new moments in the game, but it doesn't really make me feel attached to these characters. It doesn't make me feel like I'm doing something to improve the HQ or improve what they're going to give me in return for doing stuff for them. Sometimes when you complete the quest, it's a weapon or a consumable of some sort, like bandages. And if there is something further down in the quest line that is interesting, please let me know. If this game plans to implement a quest system, I really hope that they make it to where the NPCs can show up in the worlds that you go into, whether it's a fixed world that they can only spawn at, or if you can go to different areas and find them differently. That would be pretty cool, but only being able to talk to them at the base seems a little boring to me, a little bland, that they're not directly impacting the world. And I understand it would be kind of tough to program something like that into a game like this, but I think that would add a whole nother layer of their involvement into your missions in this game. The last thing I wanted to mention was the Battle Pass. The Battle Passes are a lot like Helldivers, the Helldivers 2 Battle Pass, where you don't necessarily have to have buy the premium currency. You can get it naturally by playing the game, and they also have a secondary currency that you get by completing daily objectives, weekly objectives. That's the currency that you use to unlock the different items in the Battle Pass. I'm all for this type of Battle Pass system, but one thing that seemed a little strange to me was that they're one-time consumables in this Battle Pass. So if players are going to be spending $10 to buy a Battle Pass, then I would really hope that what I would get would be more than a one-time consumable, like a defibrillator. And I get defibrillators are pretty rare in this game, but you can just craft it. It's not the hardest thing in the world to craft. There is still cosmetics for the character, cosmetic items, cosmetic pieces for the character himself, but when it's mixed in with one-time use items, it's a little frustrating to spend the currency that you get from grinding the daily and weekly challenges to get something you can just craft in a mission or two. And I really hope that they don't decide to put that into their battle passes and make it more akin to something like Helldivers, where there are maybe blueprints that you can find, or like a craftable item that you can unlock from the battle pass. Obviously, they'd have to make it not pay to win. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about was lobby balancing. There were plenty of times where I just wanted to go in with a free loadout. A lot of times it was just a level 1 weapon, terrible weapon, with a basic shield. So it was just the most bare bones loadout you could get. And every single time I matched into people with level 4 assault rifles just beaming me from the tops of towers. So my idea was that I would just go in and loot the area I wanted to and then leave. Which I think that type of play is fine if their gear level matches the people that they're matching with. So if you're going into a round where you've got really high level assault rifle, high level armor, or shields, you should be matched with people that are either of the same loadout, similar loadout, or the players that have opted to go and play with the free loadout should play against other players that also have a free loadout or a level 1 loadout. I know that's a weird balance to strike in an extraction shooter when you're trying to get as many items as you can to extract with and to find and to get off of other players, but making it the gap so far wide like that makes it not as fun for people that are still trying to understand and get into the genre. Overall, I'm really interested in this game, and a lot of my friends are. I'm excited for the release of the game, and I really want to get into this type of game myself. Let me know your thoughts about this game, if you're going to play it, if you're not going to play it, what is interesting to you about this game. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.